Rise and shine, it's a brand new day. Ken and Ken take the stage, ready to play. Weekdays at 10, the cars and the scene. Coffee in hand, they're living the dream. Aggression in the voice, got the whole town awake. Bringing fire to the mic, make no mistake. Shows in the corner, spitting out facts. Dropping truth bombs, ain't holding back. Ken and Ken in the morning, feel the heat. From 10 a.m. CST, can take a seat. We live and loud, that break in the mind. Light up your speakers, crank up the sound. They're talking about life upside down. Opinions exploding like a sonic blast. In the studio, they're built to last. With passion and grit, they engage and ignite. Every single week, they're a force can't fight. From sports to politics,
This is a Huddle Sports Network broadcast. You can find us on Roku TV, Amazon Fire TV, Facebook, and of course YouTube. Get all your NFL news here first.
Well, hello there, everyone, and welcome to Ken in the Morning with a broski bear to start it off. How you doing, buddy?
Good. How you doing today?
Oh, not too bad, especially since you got perfect timing.
Well, yeah, man, you can't leave man down. You gotta back people up here.
Oh yeah, fucking Ken's got internet issues he's dealing with today, so I was gonna be running solo.
Well, hopefully he gets on soon. But if not, we'll move on with the show.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, unfortunately, his internet's probably not going to be fixed till tonight.
Oh
Yeah.
Hey,
yeah.
If Ken's listening, shout out Ken.
Another slow news day for us again.
Yeah, it's that wonderful time of the year. I read everything from Bears could be a sleeper Super Bowl contender to Caleb Williams might get traded by the end of the season to everything in between, pretty much. To Kyle Monangai might take DeAndre Swift's starting role. To DeAndre Swift could be the number one sleeper in fantasy football. So it's like you just got everything flying around for the Bears.
It's okay. The Packers aren't any different. I've heard some things that Green Bay could be in for a disappointing season this year. If Love plays consistently at the level we expect him to, they're going to be in another NFC Championship yet again. You mean to tell me we're in the stage where anything's possible? Holy shit!
Yeah, seriously. Yeah, but it is interesting this year because who are the Packers' first two games? I know they open up at home against Detroit. Who's their
and then we got the Commanders at home too.
Okay, so you have two home games at least to start. Okay, yeah, man. Got it. Yeah, that's gonna be interesting, man. Very interesting.
This is gonna be. I'm not going to say a rough start to the season, but it's going to be interesting. And I want to see if we can come out and start off the year with a little more momentum than we've seen in the past with Matt LaFleur coach team, that usually we start out really slow in the beginning of the year and then start to build up. I want to see us have at least some kind of momentum to start the year.
No, I hear you with that. For sure. And, same thing with the Bears. The last year they started off hot and then just, went to hell quick. But, yeah, man, I'm having these division games earlier in the season. That's a nice little wrinkle this year. So, hey, let's beat Minnesota. Let's beat Detroit. Let's sit there at 2-0.
What's up there, Eric?
What's going on, man? What's up, broski? What's going on?
What's up, man? How you doing?
I'm doing great on this Tuesday. I'm glad I could be here, man. I've been on the show since Thursday. Yeah, Thursday.
You weren't on the Packers show Friday night?
Oh, I'll be Friday.
I was going to say, sure, forget about me, guy. I thought you were supposed to be my buddy.
No, I'm sorry, I forgot Friday. Yeah, that was the last time. Okay.
I'm just trying to figure out who Roosevelt Brown is.
Hey, man, he's a legendary player, okay? He wore number 79. 79 takes away, okay?
Got it.
There, bitch.
Oh, he played for the Giants. He didn't even play for the Packers.
You fucking giant turncoat bastard. I knew it. You were going to get converted to a G-man.
Hey, no, kid, no.
Come
Let's
on,
not get it twisted.
Don't you know I'm Sicilian here? We have bad luck with G-men.
Yeah. You're not kidding, huh?
Oh,
G-Man badge and
See, Broski, you and I get that reference. I don't know if Eric understands that.
you're not going to be invited. You're not going to be invited. Yeah.
what happened?
Do you know what a G-man is? And I'm not talking football terms.
I know what you're talking about.
Okay.
Not
okay.
that G-man. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, man.
don't go wearing that to any Columbus Day celebration.
Yeah, I highly advise against that.
Oh, man.
Oh.
Hey, I told you I got to mix it up between Green Bay and New York. Okay, I got to mix it up, okay?
Yeah, you got to will the Giants somehow to get these victories because it's not going to happen naturally.
Oh, man.
Looks like we got Nicholas in the comments. Shout out Nick. And Motown Mitch. Shout out Motown Mitch.
Mm-hmm. Oh, have you guys been hearing some of the rumors that are surrounding James Cook out in Buffalo that this could very well be his last year there? Because he's expecting to get top running back money. And from the article I've seen, he is not in the top running back class because his yards after contact are extremely low, which goes to point to, not going to say that it is, but most of his rushing success is completely dependent upon that offensive line. And then when it comes to third downs, they're taking him off the field a lot because this guy can't pass block for shit. Now, do you think that they could possibly get that settled in Buffalo, or do you think this is going to be his last year there?
You know, it's crazy. So James Cook, he was like an older running back when he was drafted, if I'm not mistaken. Like he came into the league at like 22 or 23 years old. So he came in, I think, during the COVID era type thing. So I don't know how much that's going to play into it as well. You know what I'm saying? Like he's going to be 27, like on his next contract. So that's usually when running backs start getting that age, a lot of people start to fall back on them. They don't like to give them the big second contracts, but yeah, man, I don't know. I don't see the Bills giving him a big deal. Like he would have to kind of compromise. Like he's not getting Saquon money. He's not getting.
And from what I'm hearing, he's kind of looking for somewhere around Saquon money.
Yeah, that's tough, man. Like he's a good running back. Like, but he's a running back, and even though the last few seasons the running backs kind of had a resurgence, he didn't have too many carries in college, but yeah, I don't know, man. It's what would you want? Like, what's Saquon getting right now?
Let me look at
Saquon. Like, Saquon's getting what? Like, I mean, depends what year. Really.
Yeah, he signed a 3-year, $37.75 million contract.
Yeah, I mean, that's tough. So let's just say 12 a year on average, 12 and a half. So, yeah, man, tough one. Real tough. I mean, here's the thing. Like, he'll probably get something between what, like, DeAndre Swift got and what Saquon got. So if they gave him, like, a meet-in-the-middle $10 million a year, 3-year deal, honestly, I wouldn't rule that out if I'm the Bills. I wouldn't. He's a good player.
From what I'm hearing is they offered him a 10-year deal and he did not want to accept it.
Oh, a $10 million a year deal, and he turned it down. Damn, to me that's a good beat.
From what I hear. Now I don't know how true that is, but that's the rumor that's going around, that he got offered a $10 million contract and did not want to accept it.
Dang. Well, yeah, I mean, one of those things, man. Hey, we know that the Bills are going to be drafting running back next draft. Then, I mean, that's pretty much what that tells me. I'm looking at. I'm going to pull up their depth chart right now and take a look at those they got.
Yeah. What do you think about all this, Eric?
Honestly, when it comes to Cook, don't get me wrong, he's a good back and all. He's decent, he's serviceable. But I don't know if he's worth like top money, like a Barkley or a Derrick Henry or like a Joe Mixon, those type of running backs. I don't know if he's worth all that much, but if he does take like somewhere around 11, 12, 10 man, I'll be fine with that if I was the Bills.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, his backups are Ty Johnson and Ray Davis. So,
yeah.
Not much going on as far as the backups right now. So, yeah, it's one of those things too. I mean, I don't feel that the Bills wide receiver room is overly impressive either. So, I mean, yeah, they're going to have to draft some skill position players next draft, I feel.
Yeah. From what I hear, it seems like the Bills do really like Ty, and that might be a reason that they're willing to move off of Cook.
Okay.
Pretty much, from how I'm seeing it, anybody that isn't Josh Allen on that offense, and besides the offensive line, is just about expendable. Oh, we might be getting a Ken.
No.
We might finally have Ken with the internet. Hey,
Elon, save me!
There he is.
Morning, guys.
What's up?
Going on, sir?
Internet's a little wonky still, but we'll do what we can. Right, I need to switch to Elon's internet, man.
Yeah, I was gonna say that Ty Johnson. He's like a career journeyman like type running back, right? Like he's never really been like a lead running back for a full season or anything. So, he's not young either. They're gonna move off of. They're just gonna have a new running back room next year, most likely. They'll probably draft one and sign like a mid-tier vet and draft a young one.
Yeah, and Ken, what we're talking about is the contract issues that Buffalo is having with James Cook, that he wants Saquon type of money. And from the rumor that I've heard is that they offered him $10 million a year, and he turned that down.
Hey, good luck getting Saquon money. I mean, look, I like James Cook is not a bad running back, but yeah. Good morning, Nicholas. Hey Eric, good to see you on the screen versus needing to do push-ups in the comments for being late. I guess I owe you push-ups today.
Oh man, yeah, I'm here.
he wanted to get extra credit in case he's late. Commenting on one of the next shows, that way it reduces the number of push-ups.
No, hey, always good, but no, I mean, dude's a good running back, but I mean, Saquon money. I mean, dude, that's a tough. That's a tough. We just went through a situation in the NFL, 2 years ago, where the NFL kind of reset the market on running backs, right? Where they were getting a stupid amount of money in their contracts, and the NFL said no, right? We're not going to pay you guys this money because, let's face it, your shelf life doesn't support it. None of you are these long. I mean, none of you guys are Frank Gore, who's going to play for 15 years and be effective for 15 years, right? Those guys are few and far between. So the NFL said, we're going to stop paying stupid money because it's affecting what we can do with the rest of our team. And James Cook is a good running back. He's got some years behind him, and he is still performing at a good high level for his years in league. But I mean, look, there's two parts to that. Eventually, one, yes, we're going to start inching back up on the running back money like we did in the past. but that's natural from a reset. But James Cook, is he the guy to do it? I don't know. I mean, he's solid. He's a good performer for him. I think them offering $10 million is actually really good. I don't see him holding out because that's going to be the kiss of death for his career, like it's been every other guy who's held out for a full year and not played. I don't know. I mean, he's good, but what, 14, 15 million a year good? No, not that good.
Yeah, I mean that pretty much echoes my thoughts on it as well. Yeah, good running back, nice player, but yeah, I mean, come on, like you want more than 10 million a year. Good luck with that, for sure.
I mean, I could see, look, there's a little wiggle room. Maybe you go to 11 and a half, right? Maybe you go to 12 for this year, and you start, you start, it starts going down. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, I wonder if years play a factor as well. Like you want more than 3 years or something like that, which, yeah, to me, if you're a running back, you're 26, 27 years old, you get a 3-year deal, man, you got to take it. You know what I mean? Like you get a 3-year, 10 million plus a year deal. It's hard to turn it down. Hard to turn that down.
I mean, guys, here's the funny thing, right? And I think this gets lost for an argument a lot. Dude, that's still generational money.
Yeah, absolutely. For sure, man.
You know what I'm saying? That's generational money. I mean,
yeah.
It's not like the dude's family at 10 mil a year for 3 years, at 30 mil for 3 years is going to be at the poorhouse. Like,
yeah, exactly. I mean, that's a good point.
Kids won't have to work.
And Lamar, Green Bay's playoff record is 37 and 27.
What's the Packers' record come time for playoffs? I think he's talking about just this season. What's their record going to be? I think.
I was going to say, if you're going to ask me this time of year, well, it's going to be, we'll say 3-0 because every team's going to want their team to go to a Super Bowl.
Yeah. Yeah, and every team's going to be the number 1 seed, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, based on schedule, based on just what I'm saying, yeah, it's tough to tell right now. But I mean, I had them in Detroit at 12, 13 wins each. I definitely knocked Detroit down after Ragnar retired. Looking at the Packers, I really don't like the Packers cornerback room. I don't think it's that great. I think it's going to be a problem, especially if they have an issue generating pass rush. I mean, that's, you don't have stud corners and you can't generate pass rush. At some point, it's gonna bite you. That being said, they're still overall very all around roster. Yeah, I'm probably thinking more 11, 12 wins for them now.
You know what kills me about Green Bay is that when you look at Green Bay, you don't look at that roster and go, there's a bunch of big names on there, a bunch of studs. But what you do see is a bunch of solid football players. Like, they don't have that stud guy that goes, I really need to watch out for player X. I mean, they got the running back like that. They've got
McKinney.
McKinney doesn't scare me. Yeah. McKinney doesn't scare me because after Jair stopped playing last year, his production went way down. And his
interceptions went down, not his production.
No, that to me, that's what I'm concerned about, is interceptions. But I can play around McKinney. McKinney doesn't stop me. It's like, Rashawn Gary is a guy you go, okay, I got to account for him. I got to account for the running back. I got to account for the quarterback to a degree, right? But the rest of the team, it's like, it doesn't scare you, but they're solid players. And it goes back again to Matt LaFleur being a good coach that puts his team in a position to win football games because he knows the talent level that he has, and he utilizes it properly. And that's a problem the Bears have had, John Dorn, for the last couple years, because I knew you were coming, that they have not done what LaFleur does. Like, if you want to talk about differences, it's like, look at the two rosters. It's the perfect. John brings it to a perfect point. You can have all the greatest players. You can have a roster of studs, and the Bears do. They got guys that you're going to put on your fantasy team. The Packers don't have guys you're putting on your fantasy team outside of the quarterback and running back, probably, right? For most people outside the NFC North, right? What's the difference? What's the difference in the offensive line for the Bears last year and the Washington Commanders last year? Coaching.
I mean, yeah,
Coaching
definitely.
makes a big difference. So that's the thing about Green Bay. It's like Green Bay doesn't have to go out and have the big name stud receiver name, the big name stud interior lineman name. They just go out and get a bunch of good players and they coach them well. And that's what makes them a really good team. And that's what's made them a good team.
Yeah, for sure. They have good coaching both sides of the ball. And I think Packer fan Ken, didn't you say they hired a new defensive line coach?
Yeah, we hired the guy from the Patriots there because apparently the defensive line coach that we had did not put up enough even in the building to where they gave him a grace period for us having a down pass rush from the year before to where, hey, we got to change this, and they changed it immediately. So I'll give them credit there. Now I just want to see this guy actually be able to generate some of it.
You know, Ken, I mean, look I get the down production from last year, but some of that was like we talked at the beginning of the year last year, like changing scheme, changes things, and that's one of the things that changed. Because look at you guys had guys that, oh my God, this guy's a stud, and then by trade deadline, like, we got to get rid of this guy. He doesn't work in this scheme. I wonder how much was, maybe it's both, the coaching and the scheme change. Like the coach, because like if he was already the coach there and they changed the scheme, then his coaching style does not match the new scheme, and the players didn't match the new scheme, and it was like you got hit with both. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, a lot of it from at least Rashawn Gary's perspective was the change in scheme. Even though he played with his hand in the dirt in college after playing as an outside linebacker for the past few years in the NFL, it took him longer to develop than a lot of Packers fans assumed that it was going to be like. Because you could see when he was going into his pass rush, he was hesitant on some of the moves because like Ken had brought up during the offseason last year because of the muscle memory being different. Now, as you saw as the year went on, the sack totals got a hell of a lot better, but we did also have to blitz more than we should have.
Yeah, the change is always hard, right?
Oh, it's fun during the season, buddy.
Well, here's one thing, just to stay on the Packers coaching a little bit. Can you name the other coach they hired this offseason? Very familiar name for Bears fans and Packer fans. None other than Luke Getsy.
Oh, man.
That makes sense. I mean, in what capacity did they hire him?
Senior assistant.
That makes sense. I mean, look, Getsy had a lot of success there, so that makes sense.
That's my what I was going to bring up as my point is that Getsy did do decently well here, but I think that's because of the role that we had him in. We've seen he's not much of a play caller. Now, the players here in Green Bay at least absolutely loved him. I don't know how much they loved him on the teams he got ousted from, but he fits well here.
Yeah, and he was like, after he got chopped in Vegas last year, he was brought on as a consultant for like the end of the year with the Packers. So, yeah,
it makes sense though, because we've seen that quite a bit with coaches, right? They kind of strike out, when they leave their old team, going to a different role, and then the old team just brings them back in a different, in the role they used to have. So, I mean, it's not – I mean, we've seen that quite a bit. I'm sure he'll do well for them, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I was going to say anytime that he's been here, the players seem to respond well to him. So I'm not going to bitch, especially since he's not going to have, too much power here in the organization. He's just there to pretty much help the actual coordinators install their stuff. What do you think about having Getsy back, Eric?
Honestly, it's kind of like a interesting move. I didn't think he was gonna come back, but him come back as a senior assistant, I guess that helps. I guess just as long as you don't get involved in the play calling again, that's all I care about.
Well, look, you can even use them. You can even let them get involved in the play calling though, to a degree, Eric, because like you just don't want to be your play caller, but you don't mind him having input because like not everything he did as a play caller was horrendous. The majority of it was, yes, but the guy, I mean, look, even a broken clock can be right twice a day, right? So I mean, the guy's still going to have some plays and stuff that are going to work in the NFL. So it's not like, oh my God, don't let this guy. No, let him drop some plays and maybe he'll come up with some good ones.
Yeah. At least he's not the guy with the final decision. Because if he comes up with some of the dumb stuff he came up with on the other teams, LaFleur is just going to say no and call his own play anyway, like he was going to.
And that's just it. You got that's it. You've got LaFleur who's going to call the play, and like I said before, LaFleur always seems to find a way to get a play that puts his team in the best position. So everything that actually this is good for Getsy if they let him do play calling because it's going to help him learn to become a better play caller. Like he's now had 2 cases where he failed. So hopefully he learned from them, and now he's going to get further education from a guy who really has been nothing short of phenomenal in Green Bay at calling plays in Matt LaFleur. So I would hesitantly say that next time Getsy wants an OC, he'll be a much better OC if he gets another shot.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a long while before he does, just because of it being 2 teams that he failed with.
Yeah, I mean,
when it's one team, you'll see, somebody will give him another shot relatively soon. But after 2, you think he's going to be sitting there as a positional guy or a consultant for a while.
Chicago was his golden opportunity because he had a good roster to play with, right? He had a lot of talented players, and they didn't do well. And they went to the Raiders, who didn't have the same talent level in some ways. Remember they had quarterback issues early and everything else. He needed to go to a team like Detroit that just got their OC poached. That's like the kind of place he needed to go to try and maybe have more success than where he went. Chicago wasn't good for him in terms of he wasn't able. I mean, look, even the offensive line under him was really good on the run offensive line. Mm-hmm. It was a pass defend offensive line and his pass plays that sucked. That's what he needs to fix. And he goes to Vegas with no running game and quarterback issues. That wasn't a good deal for him. He should have gone somewhere that was a little more. He's not the kind of coach who's going to coach up your offensive line is what I'm trying to get at. He needed to go to a place with a good offensive line that had talent, like a Detroit, who had a good offensive line.
That, and I think he got used to being able to call plays with a certain type of quarterback because you've seen him try to call a lot of the Rodgers plays in these other places. And I hate to break it to you, but not everybody's Aaron Rodgers. So you kind of got to play to your strength of the team. And John, I think Cobb is still in the nursing home, just finishing his pudding now. So that might be happening soon.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I mean, great stat there, Broski. 7.5 sacks made the Pro Bowl last year. Remember, the Pro Bowl is mostly fan voting these days. So
Yeah.
Well, a lot of that was to do off the pressures he had. Granted, a lot of Packer fans themselves were saying that they don't know how the hell Gary got into the Pro Bowl.
Yeah, he's not overly impressive.
Solid going back to the topic, though, when we originally started, are we going to start to see a shift? Because, look, at last year, let's face it, it was a resurgence of the running back across the league in the role of the running back. And it seems like the running backs are all bunched up at around that $10 to $11 million mark, right? Like, we got a bunch that are just right there. Swift and Saquon and Henry and your guy up there in Green Bay.
Jacobs.
Thank you, Jacobs. I mean, are we starting to get to that point now, going back to his contract in Buffalo, where it's like, look, guys, paying us all $10 million is not going to cut it? And are we going to start to see these things, these contracts, are they going to jump right back up to like the Zeke $22, $23 million a year deals again?
I don't think we're going to see it that high. I think it's going to be more like a whale market type of thing, to where the top guys are getting paid a damn good amount of money, but the rest of your running backs aren't making too much of shit.
But doesn't it come back to running back evaluation? And let's face it, man, like GMs across the board, there are some exceptions, aren't necessarily great at evaluating how long these guys are going to play.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I was going to add to this about the running back contracts. Like, I think a big piece of it is the years of the contract, because I think teams are very hesitant to give like a running back more than a 3-year deal. Even more so than a lot of other positions. So maybe you do have a guy like James Cook, and you're like, okay, we'll pay you. We'll give you a 3-year deal worth, 32 million with like 24 guaranteed. So he's getting essentially a 2-year deal, 12 million per year type of thing. And then he's not around for his 3rd year.
Or maybe it's more incentive laden towards like, okay, look, we'll give you like something close to what Broski said, but not maybe like 20 million guaranteed, and then the back 2 years, maybe it's more incentive laden. Like at year 3, if you can play all 17 games, I have no problem paying you 12 mil, right? But if you're only playing half that season, your base is going to be 6, and then there's going to be a game counter, kind of thing. Because GM's got to protect the salaries again, and it's just, look, we're already overpaying receivers, we're overpaying edge, we're overpaying quarterbacks, and that's fine because the market has kind of gone that way, and teams have made adjustment for it. But running back is a position I think that they were right to reset the market on, because it was getting, you were paying all this money for running backs, and you could see, look at Dallas. Like, they had paid so much for running backs, and they weren't getting to play all these running backs, and it hurt Dallas big time, right? Look at the running back position is the one position where it seems like those contracts tend to hurt the teams the most. And good morning, Yoli.
Yep, good morning there, Yoli.
So I'm wondering how far are they going to let James Cook go with this, and James Cook is going to sign. I think he'll sign by camp.
I honestly don't think so. Personally, I think this is going to be the last year that James Cook is in Buffalo, because I think he's going to hardline himself with this money and try and find another team that's going to pay him at least close to what he wants.
So you think he's going to do? Is he he's not a free agent though, is he?
After this year, he is.
Yeah, but so if he does the Le'Veon Bell, how well did that work out?
Oh, God, yeah, no. Yeah, no, I'm not saying that. I think he plays out the last year of his contract because he's not stupid.
If he wants to go hang out with AB and Le'Veon Bell and stump for Trump, that's cool and all. But that's his career progression if he sits out the year.
Yep, I was gonna say taking a year off doesn't seem to do well for most guys.
Yeah, I think look at Cook. Cook has been a very good piece for them. I think though 11 mil might be good. 13 mil, no. I get you're splitting hairs over $1 million here, $1 million there, but you know what though, you've got to, because with him, if it goes, well, we'll give you 12, then the next guy it's going to be 13, and 5 years from now we're going to be back up to 20.
Yeah, and I think he kind of realizes, most people think the Bills still have like a Super Bowl window right now. They should be contenders for the next couple of years. So it's like, if I'm Cook, I'm like, all right, guys, well, pay me the extra $2 million a year that I want. Pay me $12 million a year, not $10 million a year.
Well, to be fair, Buffalo's chances hinge completely on Josh Allen. So it's kind of hard to make the argument that, I'm also valuable to the team when Josh Allen is the one that's counting for, we'll just say 60% of the success, just to give it a number.
What are they offering him again, Ken?
The rumor that I heard, it was 10.
So Spotrac has the market value at 10.2, right? Saquon's average, Josh Jacobs is getting 12 mil a year. Saquon's getting 12.5. So, like, give him, look at 10.2. If 10 million is more than David Montgomery, more than Tony Pollard, who are the other comparable players. So, only people are making. I mean, look at King Henry's not even making that much. So, you're close to Saquon and Josh, but you're 25 years old. You're gonna be 26 this year. Yeah, I mean, 3 years, 30 million. Okay, so maybe you go 3 years. You know what? Maybe you go 3 years, 36 million, which is 1.7 million less than Saquon. But you add, for part of that, you add incentives on the back. So, like, the first 2 years, maybe you make 12 and 12. There's 24, and the last year you make 11 to get you up to like 35 or so. Right, and you maybe have it be more incentives. I mean, 10 million. I mean, that's still overpaying. Depend. Well, what's their cap look like though? Too. That's the other thing. Can they afford it? And that's the other thing the player needs to think about too. Is like, am I going to handcuff my team if we're in our window so that now we may, am I going to fuck up the window? I mean, that's what that comes down to, right? Am I going to fuck up the window? And let me see if he's going to fuck up the window if he tries to get too much money. This year they're negative right now.
Yeah.
For next year they're negative.
Yeah.
So, once again, I think 10 million is actually really good for him. Maybe if you can get to 11 million, 3 years, 33 million, or 4 years at 44 million, right? And maybe like 4 years, 44 million, make 26 million of a guaranteed, effectively making it a 2-year contract, right? And then have maybe some extra incentives on the back end for the last 2 years, right, as well. I mean, an average of 11 million a year where maybe it can become more on the back end, but you don't have the cap. Like, dude, they have no cap next year. Oh my God. They are negative 3 million in cap space next year. They still got to draft some people, and who knows what else they need to sign. When I'm looking at the people they can cut and save money pre-June 1st next year.
Yeah, but they're only 3 million over, and we know that the cap goes up every year.
Yeah, okay. So call it 20 million. So that gives them 17 million to sign their draft picks and keep him. I mean, so you could basically sign him, do your draft picks, and that's it. I'm looking for pre-June 1st for any good cap savings they could have. And Dawson Knox, they could cut him. They'll take 7.4 in dead, but they'll gain 9.6. Forget cutting Josh Allen. You take
that ain't never happening.
Let me go to post June 1st and see if that changes anything. They're not going to cut Dawson Knox anytime soon. That's stupid. They're not going to cut Deion Dawkins. They really don't have any cut. Oh, here we go. Taron Johnson, they could cut him and take 2.3 in dead and free up 8.7. They don't have any like real good cap casualties that they can even cut. So like that's the other piece of this James Cook contract is like, dude, your team doesn't have the money. So I mean, if you can get an average of 11 mil, which is over what your market value is, I think you're doing well for yourself. And get like a 4-year, $44 million deal with 26 million of it guaranteed. I mean, that sounds like a pretty good deal for both. That works for both parties. And look, I think that's something where some of these players need to understand. Like, you look at what Poles did last year. Poles has a reputation of taking care of his guys when he signs in the contracts, right? Like when he re-signed DJ Moore, extended him, was it an exorbitant amount of money for a wide receiver one? No. But did he take care of the player? Yes. Did he also take care of the team? Yes. And both parties understood that they could take care of each other. Well, dude, James Cook, you need to do the same. I mean, you're not Saquon. 11 mil, you're not going to break your team. You're going to get over your market value. And you still got generational money.
Yeah, it's the old adage of, do you want to play for the money or do you want to play for the championships? Because hey, sometimes you got to take a little less money if you want to build yourself a powerhouse team.
Got a 5-year contract.
Yeah, I think he's saying, why wouldn't the Saints come in and try to sweep up Cook and give him $14 million a year?
Well, no, that would be 14 a year, would it?
Yeah, it would.
Well, he's a free agent next offseason.
Right.
But yeah, I think the Saints have bigger things to worry about than putting that much for a running back.
Yeah, I was gonna say they've got their own cap hell to be dealing with for the next couple of years.
Yeah, I think once they get out of that Kamara contract, I mean, they're going to be drafting a running back.
I mean, that'd be the Saints did that. I mean, that's the problem. If the Saints do that, that's a problem on 2 levels. 1, they're going to blow up the running back market again, and 2, it just shows how desperate of a team they would be. And they're already a team that's in cap hell, and that would just show, like, fire that GM today, because he's going to keep them in cap hell doing a contract like that.
Oh yeah.
I don't know, Eric. I mean, Eric's quiet. He's usually more in the comments, but Eric, what do you think, man?
What about Cook?
About this whole contract situation, the breakdown.
Honestly, when it comes to him, like, it would be smart for him to just take whatever they give him. I mean, don't put your team in cap hell, because if you do that, it's just cause a whole bunch of other things to happen. So if I was Cook, just take what they give you. I mean, he's still a good back no matter what. So he's definitely not going to get Josh Jacobs' money. He's not definitely getting Saquon's money. So he might as well just take what they give him.
Yeah, I would caveat that. Don't take what they're going to give you, because then they'll give you 8. But take what they're going to give you if it's respectful. And I think what they offered him was if they offered him $10 million a year, dude, that's very respectful considering his market value by Spotrac, which is just a tool, says 10.2. So there's a little good. So if they offer you 10 and you're like, I want 13.5, it's like, dude, they're offering you just under market. Why don't you come back at 10.5 million a year? So you're going to get a little above market value. You can feel good about yourself, but you're not going to break the kitty.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and especially since Buffalo is a team with Super Bowl aspirations, it's not like they can afford to sink a whole bunch of money into a couple of guys. They already got a lot of money sunk into Josh Allen, so there's got to be some give and take somewhere.
Well, and look, it's not like if Broski's right and DeAndre Swift is gone from Chicago next year, they're tracking these kinds of things. They're like, okay, well, if you walk, we might get a shot at Swift next year, who can sign for, guess what, 9 to 10 million.
Oh yeah, Swift would jump on that in a heartbeat for sure. Yeah.
So they know there's possibilities of options. I don't know if the Bears will cut Swift, but they can say, look, if the Bears cut Swift, then we're going to get him for less than you, and he's going to do the same thing. Or if this guy over here, look what DK just went for, or look what Chubb went for. Granted, a little different scenarios, but those guys were better than you. So I mean, I think this is one of those cases where I side with management. They offered him a fair deal that's mutually beneficial. Isn't that what you want as a player and as a fan? And as a management for a team, a mutually beneficial deal that benefits the player and the organization and the fans, because the fans are going to see winning football. Isn't the goal to get a ring and not just to get paid? Because if he gets a ring, tell me the endorsement deals don't go up, especially in the Buffalo area.
Well, that's what I was just about to say. In the Buffalo area, they do a real good job of getting endorsement deals for these guys. And like you said, if they get a Super Bowl on top of that, that's just going to make his stuff explode.
That's one thing where the NFL needs to get. That's one thing where the NFL needs to get better. Good morning, Philip. The NFL needs to get better at endorsements for their players outside of their markets. You look at, basketball's always been better at it, especially Jordan kind of changed the game, right? The only football players that really had any success were Peyton Manning, and he still does. Baker Mayfield, when he was with Cleveland, was very marketable nationwide, right? I mean, come on, don't tell me his Baker's home or whatever those insurance, those were great. Oh yeah, Sarah, she's a good egg, right? Those are great commercials. They've got to get better at marketing players. Like, I hate to say, European soccer does. Even the MLS is getting better at, because they're marketing Messi everywhere. The NFL
I don't know if it's necessarily they need to get better at marketing players, because you see the superstars get these national marketings like Aaron Rodgers and Patrick Mahomes. It's these guys that are just below that level.
The non-quarterback.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Hey, you know, we got ourselves a damn good wide receiver. Let's start putting him here. Or there's a linebacker that's awesome. Let's start using him more.
I mean, Modelo is good. They took Roberto Garza and a couple other Hispanic linemen who were in the league, put them in a commercial. Like, that was cool. But, I mean, the NFL's got to get better at marketing other players. A-Dub, with big question here. I mean, speaking of the Bears, is there any concern that Colson Loveland's play could make Cole Kmet expendable? I wouldn't call it concern. I'd call that a good thing if that happens, in a sense, because if you cut Cole, you could say, like, was it $8 or $10 million next year in cap? But I mean, I look at Ben Johnson. We know likes two tight ends, and if you can afford to keep both, I think if Colson has a big year, and Kmet has a good year, and you can afford to keep both on your roster, why wouldn't you? I think it only becomes a concern if you start, and look, that goes for Swift, that goes for Kmet, and that goes for, which linebacker am I thinking of there, Broski?
Mr. Tremaine Edmonds.
Tremaine Edmonds. I think it goes for all three of those guys to some degree. If you can afford to keep them as is, the Bears will. If they all play well, because I think Edmonds feeds Edwards. It's kind of like one of those things. If that becomes a numbers crunch thing, then they're going to start making decisions based on that. I think Edmonds is the first one to either be restructured or cut, then probably Kmet, then Swift, because you don't have an heir apparent for Swift per se right now that we can see. I think it would go in that kind of order. But I mean, Loveland, Kmet, if you can afford to keep both, why wouldn't you? If they're both playing well, like the Bears are. See, that's the thing though, because Ryan Poles has been very meticulous with managing the money, taking care of players who in turn are taking care of the organization by making sure that when they get their paid, they're not handcuffing the organization. He has the ability to do that, and now a guy like Cole Kmet can stay on the roster, right? Even if Loveland's rocking it out, and you could have, the first round pick and the $12 million or $10 million tight end, whatever his salary is going to be, or $11 million, I think is what it is next year. You can afford to have that luxury because they've taken care of each other. If you're James Cook, you don't want to make your team give up a piece. Kmet doesn't want the Bears to give up a piece. Hell, the kid's a lifelong Bears fan. He grew up in Arlington Heights, where the new stadium is going to go. So I think, if anything, even Kmet won't get cut. He would offer to restructure to take less money to stay on the team, to be honest with you. I think in Kmet's perfect world, he doesn't care how much money he makes at this point. He's gotten paid. He just wants to stay a Bear. I think he would take a pay cut to stay in Chicago, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it's definitely rare that you see a team or a player get to play for their childhood team. And you see a lot of guys make some concessions to make that happen. And he's already there, so it wouldn't shock me if he'd be willing to take a pay cut if it meant either take a pay cut or you're off the team.
And I agree I think, A-Dub, I don't think you're going to get much disagreement from me or Broski on this. I think all of us think that Edwards deserves more than Edmonds. And I think they flipped it. They flip-flopped the contracts. And Edwards, even with his extension, isn't making as much as Edmonds. I think, though, Edmonds is integral as far as, he sets Edwards up. It's kind of like Urlacher and Briggs, right? Except in this case, they paid Briggs more than Urlacher, right? I mean, it's kind of that's kind of what the Bears have done here, and I hope they can correct that with those contracts. I think Edmonds is good on this team, right? I don't know if you're going to upgrade, honestly, looking what's out there. But I mean, I think his deal needs to be restructured, or when he gets, after this year, they need to extend him where he's making. They're going to extend him to free up cap space, but cut that salary way down. Like, make it, if him and Edmonds are making the same, I'm okay. But for him to be making more, if Edmonds making more than Edwards is not cool. I think he should be making the same or a touch below what Edwards is, because the numbers show Edwards should be making the money.
Yeah, the thing about Edmonds, it's do you pay an average to good linebacker $17.5 million a year, and that's currently what he's getting paid. So, like what you said though, essentially it's almost like a contract year for him, because if he plays out of his mind this year and makes a Pro Bowl or something, I mean, obviously that's going to increase the chance of next season the Bears keeping him on the roster, not cutting him. So, and Cole Kmet, little different story. I love some Cole Kmet. I mean, he's one of my favorite players on the team. He's a really good tight end who, definitely wasn't used correctly last year, but he's like 11.5, 12 mil a year next year. So if he has a solid season, at worst, hopefully they can just move some money around keep him. But it's still a sizable chunk that you're going to be invested into two tight ends.
His cap number for next year is $11.6 million as Cole Kmet. That's his cap number for next year.
Yeah, man.
And let me see, just for sake of argument, let me see if they even have it. Spotrac is terrible. Sometimes they have market value on guys, sometimes they don't. And my internet's being really slow right now, so.
Yeah, and Philip, I honestly wouldn't be surprised if we start seeing the more incentive-laden contracts coming into the future with how high some of these contracts are getting.
I mean, look at in 27. All right, for 26, his cap hit's 11. His cap hit's gonna be 11.6 every year, because of the way they structure. Even though his pay goes down by $1 million in 27 and 28, but he's definitely a guy the Bears could restructure. 5 years in the league right now. He's Kmet, but I think Kmet would take a restructure. That's what it comes out to. And look at the Packers are going to be in that boat too, right? With some wide receivers this year. Like, how much money does Dobbs want?
That's going to massively depend on what he does this year. As of right now, I'd give him a very low-end contract. But a lot of that has to do with my concern about his concussions, especially because of how hard that last one was.
Yeah. Because Brisker had to relearn his entire body. It's kind of weird, but
dude, with Brisker, they're saying he had his whole nervous system had to be retrained. I'm like, dude, are you sure you really want to be playing pro football?
Romeo Dobbs, interesting. His cap number is $3.5 million this year, right? Mm-hmm. How much money? His valuation is about $7 million. I mean, he's due a pay raise according to the valuation on over the cap.
I was going to say, I'd pay him $7 million and not have a problem with that.
So if you would pay him $7 million, what does that do? Well, let's see, cap wise, you got $35 million cap.
Yeah, I was going to say that doesn't affect the cap much.
You got $17 million next year. You could give him a nice pay raise. You really could.
Yeah. I wouldn't be against giving him a $7 million contract. Honestly, I think that's right around where he's worth too. It's just I
think he'll want more than that, though.
He's going to want more, but realistically, he's got to look at it. Is any other team going to want to give me, that type of money? Versus if it's close, you think that would be a little more incentive to stay with Green Bay.
Well, you guys are paying Josh Jacobs his cap hit next year for you guys is 14.6.
Yeah, I expect Jacobs to get a restructure.
Elton Jenkins cap hits 24.8 next year. McKinney is
Jenkins is getting a restructure this offseason. That's what all the
well, look, he's a great
hubbub was about with him this year.
His pre-June 1st cut would be 4.8 million in dead and 20 million freed up. So I mean, the Packers, though, once again, were smart in the way they did their contracts because they obviously have some room to maneuver there, right?
Yeah. I don't see there be any way in how we move on from him, and I don't see him keeping that cap number the way it currently is either.
Carl, yeah, go look at numbers, buddy. That's all I gotta say. Go look at numbers. Go ahead, Carl. Go ahead, please. And Bears were smart in the way they did his contract as well. So, yeah, the whole thing with Cook, man. I mean, dude, I don't think he gets over 11 million. I really don't.
Nor do I.
Because Buffalo A doesn't have it. B, he's not worth more than that. I think $11 million is even a push. But I think they could probably go there and get away with it. Yes, it's probably a little bit of an overpay.
Well, as we've also seen, too, that when you start getting these teams that are successful for multiple years, to keep that core of guys around, you do got to overpay some of these guys a little bit.
Well, that would be an overpay, wouldn't it?
Yeah. No. Yeah, I'm pretty much agreeing with your argument.
Yeah. And look at free agents for next year. You're going to have Jalen Warren, Najee Harris, Austin Eckler, Etienne, Cordero Patterson still out there. Javonte Williams. I mean, you got J.K. Dobbins will be a free agent again next year because it's a 1-year deal. Nick Chubb's on a 1-year deal. Breece Hall is going to be out there. Could possibly be out there. I mean, there are some names out there. Plus, you got the draft. So, I mean, look at they've got a little bit of leverage there.
Mm-hmm. And not only the free agents available, but we've heard the adage for about 10 years now is that you can find a starting caliber running back anywhere in the draft.
Well, I don't know what next year's draft class looks like. I mean, I know some people are already doing their mock drafts for next year, which I don't know how, but okay. But there might be some good running back talent in the draft for sure. I mean, that's always a good option.
His name is Nick Singleton, and he plays running back for Penn State.
Well, of course, the Penn State guy for Broski. Of course, there's a Penn State guy for Broski. I mean, come on. Hey, real quick, if anyone's got I hate this internet issue. We only got 2 minutes left. If anyone's got Starlink, please DM me how Starlink is working for you. I'm seriously considering switching to Starlink. You can get me at Ken the Bears fan on X. Just DM me. Because I'm tired of these internet days like today. Like today, I've been hanging on. I haven't turned the cam on because it sucked down too much bandwidth that I don't think my system can handle today. So if you've got Starlink, please DM me how it's working out for you because I'm kind of interested in changing that way. And also on that note, of course, thank you, Broski. Thank you, Eric, for actually being on the show today versus in the comments. Come by more often, my friend. Ken, of course, as always, thank you, everyone in the comments for making comments. And don't forget, you can comment from X. I know Dorn showing out yesterday, commenting from X as Johnny Dorn, like he's a comic book hero or something. That's his other moniker. Thank you guys for doing that. For the comments and everything. Good discussion today. It'll be interesting to see what happens with the running back situation, in terms of contracts. Like Broski says, hit that like, hit that subscribe, hit that little heart emoji if you're on X. It goes a long way to helping the shows. We do appreciate you guys joining us every morning to listen to us talk football. Trust me, we love being here with you guys. I don't know, Ken, you got anything else for this morning?
For this morning, other than make sure you guys have yourselves a wonderful rest of your day, and we will all, like always, be back tomorrow bright and early.
Eric, any last words? You got about 10 seconds.
Go Pack, go, and go
Perfect
Giants.
words.
Oh, there we go. All right, guys. Everyone have a great morning. We'll see you tomorrow.